All right, this is market replay for March 6th, 2017. Let's take a look at the setups for the day. I'll show you the one that I took. You probably want to start with the highs. I mean, your high could be here, could be up here. It's pretty early in the day. We'll just do that. Put the low there. I think could be a trend right there. All right, so before you get started, you're all set up. You know, this could be the trend, and it was at least a smaller trend. You've got the break and the new low, so it makes sense that it's working its way back up. You break in a new high, and now it makes sense that it's working its way back down, although you need confirmation of that, because you could get, you know, a double entry and keep going long. So let's get the setup going here, and then I'll talk about it. So if you think that that is the trend right there, what you're doing right now is waiting for some kind of signal to go short off of that trend that you've drawn. And that's a good way to trade, is to be looking for something to happen, and then when it does happen, then you can take it. You don't want to be surprised by something and then go, oh hell, I need to go short now all of a sudden, which happens. But it's best if you're, I don't want to say looking for it, because I don't want you to be like, you know, have something in your head and then have that screw you up. But you need to be anticipating that if it sets up this way, I am prepared to go short or long or whatever it is. And if it does not set up that way, then I readjust my thinking and move forward. So it comes, hits off the trend line, it hits off the EMA, and you're getting a good setup going here. I have to try to speed it up just enough to get it interesting without going past it. All right, so there you go. So you've got what you were looking for. You've got a nice short off the EMA, off your trend line. You've got a lower high. And I'll talk about a lower high here in a bit, but I mean, just because you get a lower high, that's not a signal to go short. I mean, what you really want is a second entry short. So if it goes short again, then that's really what you're looking for. But if there's a lower high in the right scenario, then you could definitely go short. This is the right scenario. You've got plenty of room to get out before down here. This is, to get one tick above this bar, you need to drop a limit order in right here if you want to completely play by the rules. Let's draw this chart marker here. So that's our short. You have a potential measured move, you know, going to the bottom. It's not necessarily going to work out for you. And then this does play out and gets your ticks. So we'll speed it up through that so you can see what happens. And I would probably have, I like going for a lot of points, so I would have probably drugged that down here. Enough room to get out before the bottom. But if this is a trend here, then it's possible it could come all the way, down to the other side of this. So that's usually what I'm looking for. something like that. So you get the, yeah, that's just 4 ticks at the moment. I wanted to go 5 to confirm that it actually would have triggered in real time. There it goes. So at that point, you want to kind of break even here. And we'll see what happens. It's going down. Could have got 2 points. Being greedy. Didn't work out. But then you get another entry. And in real time, this is the trade that I took today. Set up a lot better than this. But you still have a failed first entry long. So, you know, here's your high. It tries to go up and then it fails. And then it tries to go up and it fails. And so I sold right there. I might not get in on the replay here. That's fine. There it goes. And then I got uber greedy and went like down to here or something. I was going for 5 points out of it. I didn't get it. And honestly, in the real time, I hadn't drawn this, and if I had drawn my line here like I was supposed to, I would have had the target right there. But something else you got to see that's going on is you don't really know if this is the correct trend you think it is. But there's also this potential here. Something like that. And if you had drawn that one, then you've got the tick off the trend line, almost off the EMA, and the second failed entry short. It's just a good trade. Lots of reasons to go short there. Okay, so let's see what happened there. We came up, we broke it. And so if your trade was down, here's another mistake I made. You know, I'm going for the gold, trying to get 5 points down here. And I had this line drawn, and I saw it break, and I saw it come down, and I saw it bounce. But I kind of hesitated, and then after it did this bar, I moved it up, and it never came back, and so then it ended up going up and stopping me out of break even. So that break, that down, and that bounce for sure should have been my indicator to move my stop back up here and get those points. But as it was, I didn't do it. So let's look for another setup. And I was still playing, well, actually I had to stop playing after this, but I would be looking for a break of this bigger trend now. And a new low is what I'd be looking for. It comes up, and so what do you have here? Off this low here, you've got a first entry, and then it's bouncing. And then you get the setup here. So you're still looking for a second entry. And it's possible, you know, maybe this isn't a trend. And maybe, possibly, you're looking for something like that, although I doubt it. But if you got a failed second entry short, like if it failed there and then it comes and fails again, It's probably a good indicator to go long. But I would have had this for the time being. I would have had that drawn like that. You kind of got a break of that, so you're still setting up like you want. And since you're looking for you're not looking for a long at this point. It's a downtrend. You're looking for the break of this bar here. So that's a first entry and that's a second entry. And I would be slightly concerned about, some kind of trend setting up here. But not too bad because you've got more working for you than just a second entry. There's a first, there's a second. And then if you come up here, you've got resistance coming across here, especially, you've double topped at this point. And then if you draw it to this other bar over here, you're definitely seeing resistance all the way across there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let's draw that out. So from that bar over, even if you didn't see this bar over here, you've got this one here, this guy. And so since you get a double top, you get a decent signal bar, and you're looking for the break and the new low off this sucker, it's a pretty good place to go short. So we'll mark that. There's my chart marker. Oops, right there. Triggers you. I would set up here so I can get out in case it bounces off that low. Comes through. Oops. Yep, gets you out. I would have, tightened up to break even here after this first one triggered. But as it is, you get what you're looking for. And then it starts working its way kind of around the low here, and maybe the low is there, if you want to adjust it. This could be a second entry actually. You establish your new low, you get your first entry, you get your second entry, and it's off the EMA. However, I probably would have skipped that one. I don't know if that works out or not if you took it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think you would have got out. I probably would have been too scared to do it, even though you get a good signal bar off the EMA. But you got these lows going on. It's kind of playing around there. So we'll mark that one. I think Mac marked that one. Could be wrong. And Mac actually didn't like these. He didn't like that trend playing out. He played it as a range, or at least at the end of the chart. But at this point, you don't know that. At the end of the day, it'll be easy to see it's a range day. But up to now, I don't see a big reason to be playing this as a range. So let's get to something interesting here. Start working its way up. I think that one's aggressive, so we're changing that. Play it up. You got this little trend working up. Let's move the lows down here for now, since that's kind of where they're going. Let's see what plays out. I wouldn't be doing anything at this point. I'd just be waiting for something interesting to happen. Speed things up again. So you've got, here's your low. You've come up. There's a first entry long. And there's a second entry long, but in this setup, I don't like it at all. I wouldn't take that. You got some congestion going on. The bias of the day has still been down. The signal bar isn't great. I wouldn't be interested in that at all. I might not even notice that was a second entry until after the fact, if it started moving up. So I'm not a fan of that in any way whatsoever. But now things are looking up. Maybe you got a trend working here. And this will be the last one I talk about. And then I'll let it play out a little bit. But, so you've got the first entry, you've got the second entry. I don't like any of it. And then you get another entry here. And that's a decent signal bar. For me, this is all kind of stuff that I would see after the fact. I mean, I think Mac marked this one, and I can see why. But I'm a lot more conservative. Just if I don't play conservative, I lose money. It's just the bottom line. Plus, you know, you've got potential for some resistance there. And there's no like in-your-face signal bar here. So I would have no problem skipping all that stuff. So that wasn't a trend. And then this is when you figure out, hey, it's a range day. I mean, it came and played on these lows, and then you go. So I would have been totally satisfied with taking this trade and this trade and walking away from the day. And then especially if I ended up with this one, I don't need to play it out anymore. And once it started playing out down here and did this and then kind of took off without me, I would definitely be done. But that's what I see for the day. I hope that's helpful. I'll catch you guys next time.